Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
That kid is back on the escalator again.
Ain't gonna hurt.
Is my boomstick!
Game over, man. It's game over.
Welcome to the Bargain Bin. He's your host, Ben Mason.
And he is your co-host, Sandra Luketic. And today we're talking 1991's Stone Cold. We assume if you're listening to this episode, you've already seen the movie.
Hell yeah, man. I've been waiting for this movie. What? Are we ready?
Wow.
Did I get the right thing? Did I watch the right thing?
That's what I was going to do. I was actually going to make that same joke, my friend.
Who's that talking?
Apparently we have a guest.
You didn't tell me about this. Is it Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Let me tell you something, son.
Oh, that was bad.
This here's Austin.
Ooh.
I don't know. Is that bad?
Oh, okay. Ben, you might as well introduce our guest because he's doing a terrible job introducing himself.
Welcome back, Mark.
Mark
from Knocked Conscious and Beer Google's podcasts. How have you been, man? This is your third appearance on our show now?
I think it's 5 too many. It's been.
I like that math.
Well, I think, Sandra, that's your fault. You threw it for a loop, man. Literally, the Stone Cold thing just scrambled my brain.
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do anything.
It's well done.
I should have been ready for that. I really should have.
There's no way you could have guessed that. Not a chance.
That was literally my go-to joke. I was going to go, oh, I think I watched the wrong thing. I've been watching clips of Stone Cold Steve Austin matches all day.
I do have a wrestling reference later in the movie that has nothing to do with Austin or a Stone Cold reference.
I like the way this is going to go.
So I never even heard of this movie.
Really?
Mm-mm.
I think this one kind of got lost in the shuffle because the year it came out in 91, like it was the heyday for Van Damme and for Steven Seagal movies. I think the year before this was Hard Target, the Van Damme movie. And then there was a Seagal movie that came out the same year that actually one of the actors here in Stone Cold, William Forsythe, was filming that at the same time. So he'd have to jump back and forth week to week for each film.
Was that Under Siege by any chance? Which one was
I think
that?
it was Out for Justice.
Out for Justice. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
We got Steven Seagal bikie gang trying to stop things.
I mean, I think of 1991 action movies and there's Point Break, Double Impact, Showdown in Little Tokyo, Toy Soldiers, The Last Boy Scout, Terminator 2. I mean, even Ninja Turtles 2. I do not think Stone Cold. I think I would have thought of Cool as Ice before Stone Cold.
Wow.
That is sad. But you did mention Last Boy Scout, which is a phenomenal movie.
I do love that movie. Shane Black perfection. I probably never would have heard of this movie either had I not seen it at a local video store in probably like 92. It's just such a ridiculous 80s action cover. Like that was released 2 years too late.
And it was a cash grab too. Because they were taking off this guy's celebrity as a football player who was already out of football at that time, I think.
Yeah, it was his first feature film too, right?
I think it was, yeah.
I didn't know
I'm pretty certain
Henriksen played football.
Yeah, that's why his face is all messed up.
That's why he's Bishop, bro.
All right, before we go into that, I just want to do something here that we don't normally do because if anybody hasn't watched this movie, I'm not surprised. Even though you could find it and watch the entire thing somehow unedited on YouTube.
That's how I watched it.
Yeah, I was surprised that they didn't censor anything. And it's been up since 2015 and has been viewed 3 million times and is filled with swearing, nudity, and violence.
You know what?
That's how I saw Ernest Scared Stupid last time. I was watching it through YouTube. I'm not going to say I had a copy of this, but I had access to this.
Yeah, I I will definitely be buying this. This has to be in my collection.
Do you know what part of what you just said surprised me the most? 3 million views.
Yeah. Right? You think more people would know about this movie. If 3 million people have watched it, you'd think there would be at least a couple people that might have spoken about it.
They're all Americans, guys. They're all Americans. I'm telling you, it was the football grab because it was the Boz. It wasn't like the Boz was like already a thing in college before he even got into the NFL. It's a crazy thing. He was the worst performing, most recognized person. You know, people, Ryan Leaf, if you're familiar with the quarterback who didn't do well in the NFL, but he was touted, highly touted. Be like that.
Dude, we have the CFL and I don't even know that.
Yeah, how many downs do you guys have on yours? I don't even know how your game's played.
I don't know, 3.
Dude, don't ask me, man.
You play in meters and Celsius.
I know The Rock played in the CFL.
Yes.
That is true. Many football players went to wrestling after, which is surprising that this guy didn't. I thought that would have been perfect for him.
Yeah, really, though. He did end up in Adam Sandler's remake of The Longest Yard.
That is correct.
Alongside wrestlers.
That is absolutely correct.
Oh, my God. Including... Wait, was Stone Cold in that?
Yes, sir, he was.
There you go. There's the link. But I did want to do a really, really brief rundown of the plot for anybody who hasn't watched the movie yet. And just say that the film's about a cop who goes undercover in a ruthless biker gang in an attempt to stop the murder of a district attorney hell-bent on getting the death sentence for a biker who murdered a priest. There. Pretty direct. Not overly convoluted. And why I brought up Hard Target before, actually, the director of Hard Target was supposed to direct this movie, but was fired after a few weeks of filming because of IATSE issues. So they ended up refilming the entire beginning of the movie and got rid of multiple characters, including the lead's wife, kid, and sister, which I thought were really missing from the movie. And then Baxley. This is our second Craig Baxley movie that we've covered on here, the first being Action Jackson, which was Mark's suggestion to cover, of all things.
Unfortunately, yes. Over. That's so crazy.
Yeah. It all comes around.
I actually disagree with that point you made, but I think once we get into it, we can talk about that, about what the backstory for Mr. Stone was, or Mr. Cold, or whatever. Whichever one they were.
Mr. Huff
Stone. John Stone, Joe Huff.
Cold Stone.
Cold Stone Brewery, Creamery,
yeah.
Baskin Robbins, whichever one it was.
And one last thing before we really get into it is apparently there was an NC-17 cut of this movie and they had to edit it down to get an R rating.
No way.
What did they cut out?
I bet you boobies.
No.
I bet it was a lot more sex stuff. No?
Maybe.
Had to be
there was a lot of nudity in this movie.
Well, they only showed the one scene at the club and with the women turning over, right? And the first woman that Boz had bed for the night.
And the shower scene and the pool table scene.
Yeah, it's so true. So many good, but yeah, maybe it had one extra boob.
Maybe. I'm thinking it might be gore. Because there's not a lot of blood in this movie.
Or
there isn't, but how much gore could you make? Because if you look at Action Jackson, it's kind of shot the same way. It's all A-Team style, where it kind of happens, but it doesn't really show it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm curious. Somebody find that footage.
Has anyone done the YouTube Stone Cold NC-17 cut or anything? Any of you guys? I'm sorry. Search engined it. Did it?
No, I'm pretty sure once they saw the take this money got, they just tried to trash everything they had left. What do you say? Shall we jump into this one?
Feet first.
All right.
When do you expect me to say no to that question?
I don't know. Did you have anything to add?
Probably not for the entire episode, no.
Very good.
I played a theme song clip, didn't haven't I added enough?
You just drop off the recording.
Sandro's value add.
That's it. Mic drop.
I play clips, bro.
It's only downhill from here for me.
I always thought the second we hit record, it was downhill for us.
Always. You've listened to the show before.
I unfortunately created some of the content for the show. Sorry, guys.
All right, Ben, let's do it.
Well, the film opens with a black and white footage of a grocery store security camera. Quickly, the face of a robber looking like a roided-out Steve Carell pops into frame. He shouts at the camera with a shoots the camera with a shotgun, yells, "Let's go!" and the robbery begins. Now, right off the bat, I have a question for you two. There are a lot of customers all over this store. Do you think this is the right time to rob it? Because they go for the till, really, not so much the customers.
I feel like they were tweaking. So
They could be.
I'm just gonna give because they were sweating profusely in that first scene.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
The dude who had to end up going back behind the aisle, the guy's like, "Get back there!" That dude was like dripping sweat. It's like he just finished like 3 rounds in like a boxing match. It was weird. It was oddly turned up in that supermarket.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I get that. So yeah, we'll go with your drug explanation. The 3 robbers announced their presence by wasting a ridiculous amount of ammo shooting food, and in doing so missed the arrival of our protagonist, Detective Joe Huff, played by Brian Bosworth. In classic 80s and 90s action hero attire, with black cowboy boots, blue jeans, a long black leather trench coat, dangly earring, and a sick 2-tone black and blonde mullet.
It's like a mullet mohawk mix. It's a very interesting.
But it like tapered in the back and then
it did,
and then flared out again.
Yeah, it was the early 90s, man.
Did he have that hair when he was playing football?
Yeah, it's kind of something that defined him was that haircut. It was more like a mohawk kind of thing, but it's like a mullet hawk. It's really interesting.
Wow, what a legacy.
Well, I mean, you have to admit though, when that thing is coiffed, it is a gorgeous little pompy thing he's got going.
Yeah, I mean, but it's so long and so oddly flared that when you get him in the certain light in the movie where the wind's blowing, it looks like he has like 3-inch long shoulder hair that's just flapping in the wind.
It does. There were scenes where I actually thought, I'm like, did he just get a haircut in the previous scene? Where like he turned over and it was really shorter than you expected it or something. Yeah. I don't know.
It looked great. And I mean, he's a character already. They're only alerted to Joe by the squeaky wheel of his shopping cart. He's decided to forego heroic duties at the moment to pick up some crackers, bananas, soup, and bread. He hears a young hostage and decides to get a cookie from the display and only jumps into action when one of the robbers puts a shotgun to his head and the fight is now on. Looking at the credits, this kid with headgear who's taken hostage is listed only as Tinsel Teeth Hostage. Which is unfortunate. But more so because this is a debut role for Renee O'Connor, who most people know as Gabrielle from Xena.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Started off as Tinsel Teeth.
That's her sidekick, right?
Yeah.
How the hell would you rather be uncredited than Tinsel Tooth? What? Tinsel Tooth? What?
Tinsel Teeth Hostage? Yeah.
Tinsel Teeth.
Definitely.
I'd like to go with uncredited, please. Are you sure this is a blockbuster movie in America? You're really 3 million people are going to watch this on YouTube in the future.
The focus wasn't put on anybody else in the store. Can't you just call me grocery store hostage? No.
Tinsel Teeth.
Tinsel Teeth.
Now, show those chompers to the camera. But yeah, he said uncredited, much like one of the producers of the movie, Michael Douglas.
I think they were going to do what's that movie? There's Something About Mary. They were going to recast or retitle the younger brother as Dumb Fuck Strength Boy. I don't know what. Like, come on, man, that's like the worst fucking title. Yeah, Tinsel Teeth Hostage.
I don't know. It's almost like the names of some of the bikers are terrible in this movie too.
I mean, Chains alone.
I couldn't keep most of them straight. Like I sometimes in my notes I just say biker.
Yeah, you need Ice Pick. Why would you be Ice? You're Ice Pick.
Ice was okay because it's William Forsythe. But
I'll take it.
Problems abound.
I mean, Bishop would have been better for Lance Henriksen. He could have done it in two movies and not had to worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely wouldn't have to put any thought into it.
Not that he did much into this. He just had crazy eyes. I loved him in this.
He improvised every line in the movie. Like,
really?
He wrote all of his lines, yeah.
Interesting.
All right, sorry, back to it here. Joe knocks out the first robber and then smashes the second in the face with a shotgun, sending him reeling back through a glass refrigerator. Okay, knocking him out as well. All right. The lead robber gets distracted when Joe throws a can of spinach overhead from the next aisle, prompting him to spin around and fire his gun, which then jams for some reason. The robber takes off down the aisle, slipping in a puddle of sunflower oil, which somehow launches him up into the air and through a Dr. Pepper display, knocking him out. Also,
Gentlemen,
yes.
I must interrupt because there's one part of this scene. You gentlemen have both hunted in your life, correct? Being Canadians, I assume?
Yeah.
How many times have you held a full-length shotgun, one-handed, straight up balanced in the air as you're turning around the corner? Because there's no way you'd pull that trigger, one-handed, sticking out.
No, God, no.
Did you see the way that the bad guy was walking around with the shotgun?
Oh, terrible. Everybody in the movie that carries a shotgun.
That too. Yeah. I mean, the other guy that went every aisle wasn't great either, obviously. Also,
like, Tinselteeth will never hear out of her right ear again.
Good point.
Is this why we brought an American onto this episode for gun analysis?
And sports, Sandro.
Oh, right. I forgot about the whole football thing.
I thought Canadians knew a lot more about hunting and guns.
Watch yourself.
No.
Hunting? Really? No. That's Americans through and through.
Well, I feel like Canadians are very resourceful uses of the land. Like they actually would hunt for food.
I think you guys kill more deer a year than there are us in our country.
Oh yeah, there's 330 million of us.
Yeah,
we have 11 times the number of people in you, and we're gun crazy. Of course, we kill more deer.
Exactly. I couldn't even tell you where to buy a gun.
Oh, interesting. I feel though you guys are. I mean, you at least have it for like stuff, right? You've encountered things for which you need guns, not other people, but like anything in the wild in Canada.
Oh yeah, no, I have been hunting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
you know, I don't actually live in an igloo surrounded by polar bear, right?
Well, I understand that you have running water probably and indoor plumbing and some electricity probably, but
it's actually just a hose running from a neighbor.
Yeah, I don't have electricity. This entire podcast is being powered by a penguin running on a wheel.
It's not a gerbil.
No, gerbil died. It was too stressed.
It could be deer that are running away from the hunters chasing them.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were in the grocery store scene.
Yeah, well, he took out all of the robbers, and as soon as he takes out that last one that somehow got like 5 feet of air from slipping, the police arrive. And I counted 7 officers and the captain, which wouldn't happen. But then we get one of the worst delivered lines of exposition I have ever heard, where we get one cop who just walks up to Joe, and they're maybe like 7 inches apart, their faces, and he just says, "Joe, what the hell's going on? You're still on suspension. Let me see you sweet talk your way out of this one." And that's his dialogue for the movie. That's his lines for the movie. That is the worst acting I have ever seen in my life.
Now you know why you only had the one line.
It was terrible. As soon as, like, if Baxley filmed that, it'd just be like, "You're fired," and leave that take in the movie just as an insult to the actor.
That might have been what happened.
The captain approaches Joe and asks what he has to say for himself this time. And the response, "Clean up on aisle 4. That's when you know you're in an action movie.
That is total action movie.
And I thought this had the comedic feeling of like the version of the intro to Cobra. You remember the Stallone movie that also starts off with him taking out a guy in a grocery store?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies because of the car, that Mercury.
The car is amazing.
Fucking Mercury's from that era were sick.
But have you ever seen the National Lampoon movie Loaded Weapon 1?
Yes. Is that Emilio?
It's Emilio and Samuel Jackson.
Yes.
The opening is parodying this scene exactly.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I went back and rewatched it, and it is exactly this. I had no idea. I thought it was just some scene from a Lethal Weapon movie that I forgot about, since it's mainly a Lethal Weapon parody.
That's what I guessed would have been.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, we cut to the title card and our introductions to the biker gang, the Brotherhood, as they arrive to their clubhouse compound, and the music is amazing. We've discovered fantastic music in Baxley films, so I kind of want to go back and rewatch I Come in Peace. People are being dragged by motorcycles. Confederate and Nazi flags are flying high. There's pit fighting. Sure.
So is this a Trump rally last week? What the hell's going on?
You tell us, man. We hear strange stories coming from the South. Next up is one of the most confusing scenes for me, and I love it. Two bikers about 30, 40 feet apart facing each other with a can of beer placed on each other's shoulder. And they take turns trying to shoot the beer can off the other's shoulder.
The first one was off the head.
Off the head, yes. And then move to
the other
shoulder,
one's off the shoulder.
The shoulder is the one that got me.
Yeah,
and
that was
do you
ridiculous.
See any problem with this?
The dude should be dead.
How about the fact that there's, on both sides of them, lines of people, and the lines curve around behind one of the bikers. So if he missed the can and the biker, he should have taken out at least a couple of people, like just spectating.
Good point. Yeah, he should have killed a bunch of people.
A lot of people would be dead.
Yeah. I found that opening thing pretty sad.
It was ridiculous, but it was fun. Like it gave you the energy that you knew was going to continue throughout the film. You're like, I can't wait to see Joe take out all of these guys.
They're gonna pay.
Eventually, one of the bikers takes a dive, and the other repeatedly shoots the car that was behind him, blowing it up because this is an action movie.
Yeah, like that had to blow up after he shot at it. Every car that was shot with one bullet blew up in this movie. Did anyone else notice that?
From like the wrong spot too.
Oh, totally.
And not just cars. Next scene, a biker interrupts a baptism and murders the priest, which sets up the plot of the movie, I guess, as the biker's found guilty for the murder and sentenced to 45 years. Before that can happen, the gang murders the judge on a day off where he was to go fishing in an amazing boat explosion.
What a shitty way to go fishing on your day off. What a shitty day. Oh, hey, I'm gonna go out and grab a couple bass and fucking just sit in my hours, drink beer, and get you out of my life and be quiet, and it blows up.
And be happy with the court sentence. And that thing is blown
smug
to
even.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That blew up. That blew into the next movie. I think that blew into Action Jackson like back in time.
It was just shreds of wood, like little tiny pieces. I've never seen that before. We cut to Joe in his kitchen prepping a smoothie that I thought he was actually going to drink. I have the ingredients written down here. Orange juice, 2 Snickers bars, potato chips, a banana, 2 eggs with shells, and Tabasco sauce. At one point, I thought he was actually going to put the newspaper in it, too.
I thought he was going to drink it as well.
Here we also discover that District Attorney Brent Whipperson, horrible name, believes the sentencing to be too lenient. And they do a close-up of the paper he's reading so you can see that headline. Did you look at the article?
No, I only read the headline.
You can read the article. It's zoomed in that close. And they've just repeatedly cut and paste the same paragraphs randomly throughout the article. Like if you were going to show it that close, just have someone write like a 5-minute article. It wouldn't take long.
Fake it. They fake papers all the time.
Yeah, exactly. You could cut and paste paragraphs from a regular paper, and no one's going to take time and read it.
This is 1991, man.
Good
they
point.
didn't have like digital cut and paste. You had to actually like cutting and pasting.
Or just go to the 7-Eleven and buy a newspaper. I don't think it's going to break your budget.
Glue a fake headline over it.
Yeah, get it from like the local town. Why wouldn't they get like the town watcher? Like just give them wherever you're at.
Oh, it does turn out that the smoothie is for Joe's pet monitor lizard. And while trying to research the movie, I ended up on a website that lets you know what certificate productions got for animal handling. And this got a modified pass. Not entirely sure what that means, but it doesn't sound good.
What did they feed it too much, or did they feed it put in front of them?
Well, you look at it like if he ate any of that, I'm pretty sure he would not be doing too well because
I couldn't imagine.
They're not supposed to have citrus. Eggs maybe because they mainly eat protein.
I know dogs can't have chocolate, so I'm wondering if there's chocolate.
Yeah, I don't know. Tabasco sauce seems like a weird one. I'd hate to clean up after a Tabasco sauce lizard.
Did you really have to insert the word Tabasco sauce? And that's like, I hate to clean up after a lizard. How many do you think shits a Godzilla takes? I mean, do you really to clean up after Godzilla?
The morning is interrupted by FBI agents Lance, Sam McMurray, who's in everything, but I just found out he was Roy on Dinosaurs.
I love Sam McMurray.
Yeah, he's great.
I do. When I saw him, I'm like, I know him from everything.
Yeah,
he's like Reinhold of every other movie except for Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's pretty.
It's a weird analogy. We
also get Agent Cunningham, played by Richard Gant, who I originally recognized from the coroner or morgue attendant in Jason Goes to Hell. No, all right, that's fine.
I know. Well, I have to admit, I'm not a horror guy.
Okay.
Horrible horror person.
I'm not a movie guy.
This is the best show for you, then. Their plan is to blackmail Joe into going undercover to find out what the bikers are planning. He's the perfect candidate, they say, because he's logged more biker arrests than anyone in the state. Now, this makes me question one thing. If that were true...
Wouldn't he be recognized by the bikers?
Yes, because they're in neighboring states.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. The holes abound in this movie, sir.
Also, they threatened to turn his 3-month paid suspension into a 6-month unpaid suspension.
3 week.
Oh, 3 week. Sorry.
Into a 6
month. I'd probably just take the 6 months.
They said 6 months unpaid, though. The 3 weeks was paid.
Yeah, I know. I said 3-month paid, but it was 3 weeks paid and 6-month unpaid. I'd probably take the 6 months unpaid because I think that's better than being found out as a cop in a biker gang and being brutally murdered. I'm pretty sure I could make 6 months work.
There's a grocery store you could get a job at for 6 months.
Yeah, really?
There's an opening for like really low end bank rob or supermarket heisters as well. Who was the African American gentleman who I've seen in a million movies that's next to the guy that we all recognize from other stuff? Because he was recognizable too.
Richard Gant.
The guy that said 6 months. Oh, that's Richard Gant. Who's the white guy then? The white guy's really familiar. Yeah, Sam McMurray. That's what I'm saying. Richard Gant is the other guy, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't know the names.
Okay.
Oh, that's from Jason Go. Okay, because I know him from myriad other movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next morning, Lance arrives at Joe's apartment. Joe's apartment. That was a great movie. Joe really needs to put pants on because that Speedo's not covering enough. Lance is shocked by
now
the
we
lizard.
know where the other rated version came from. He wasn't wearing that Speedo.
I'm good with the R-rated version then. Lance is shocked by the lizard.
I wouldn't have had a problem.
Naked woman in the bed.
Yeah, I wouldn't have had a problem looking at her a little longer. She was the most attractive thing of that movie.
She was stunning. Absolutely
I thought
stunning.
she was very attractive, like way more than any of even the lead biker woman character.
I agree. Do you know
they miscast that? I don't. Who is it? Who is she?
She's credited only as Joe's girlfriend. But her name is Laura Albert, and she's an author. She created a literary persona named J.T. Leroy and published several books under the name. And the story is crazy because this character is a male character, a gay teenager who he would hang around truck stops and hook up with truckers for money and has a crazy long story. She'd do interviews as the character, JT. But not in person, claiming he suffered social anxiety. So they'd only do phone interviews, email interviews, fax interviews, and was only found out in 2005 to not be a real person.
Get out.
she was sued for fraud by signing a contract optioning a film under the name J.T. Leroy. And the movie was supposed to be directed by Spielberg. They've made multiple documentaries about her, and Laura Dern played her in a film called J.T. Leroy 3 years ago.
That's what I thought I heard, J.T. Leroy.
Yeah, and we get her as Brian Bosworth's girlfriend in Stone Cold.
That's a beautiful thing, though, isn't it?
It's crazy. That person has such a story, and all she gets is a credit as Joe's girlfriend. Also, I find it weird that she'd just be nude on screen. But
was she in anything else?
I'm not entirely sure. I'm sure she's been in a few things, but let me take a quick look here.
What's funny is there's a guy that played a Leroy in this movie. I wonder if she got J.T. Leroy off of this guy.
In other media, nothing really, no. So yeah, there you go.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry guys. I just thought that was super interesting. We'll head back to the movie now.
No, it's super interesting. That's like Factoid Central right there.
Yeah, right? We get an up-close shot revealing a new location, the biker-owned strip club Tit for Tat, and the night is in full swing. Joe pulls up on his motorcycle only to find Lance waiting for him. Lance is in the worst disguise ever, denim jacket, bandana, hat. Joe rips the sleeves off of the jacket, and the two head inside. The purpose for the bar, for the bikers anyway, is the girls draw in truckers who they then sell drugs to. We also learn that Lance is a germaphobe, which is mainly just used for a sight gag twice. Really doesn't do anything for the character, right?
Yeah, he went out of his way to have a problem and then was a pretty badass by the end of it, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, it's true. Joe points out Ice, played by the great William Forsythe, the Sergeant-at-Arms for the Brotherhood. He feels that if he can get noticed by Ice, that puts him one step closer to the chapter. Which is true, but he goes about it the wrong way by approaching Ice and saying, "Hey, answer me a question. How come your old lady's been eyeing my tail all night?" Probably not the smartest move.
Yeah, that was awful.
I mean, that could have gone real bad.
Does that work? Like, who's gonna believe that shit?
Also, the way Ice looks, I would be terrified that he would just shoot me.
Yeah, that dude's eyes are like Simpson-esque, popping out, ready to like kill everything.
He's terrifying all the time.
Yeah, that dude has no off button.
No.
Maybe a dimmer switch, but not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He uses the opportunity to give his cover story of just getting out of prison and having heard that the Brotherhood are the heavy hitters around these parts. Here's how you end the movie right now. Just have Ice go, "Who told you that?"
May I just say this movie probably shouldn't even started. Didn't even need to start, Ben. Why would it have an ending point 13 minutes in?
Yeah, that's true. We're only 13. Oh, God.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
The two are distracted when truckers pull Nancy, played by Arabella Holzbog, off of the stage and demand their money back, claiming the drugs they bought were bad. Ice starts a fart? Ice starts a fight with them. That's a different movie.
He turns around and just drops trow and just like crop dusts him right there.
Also pointing out how crazy Ice really is. So, the other biker who was with him, Gut, and Joe, using the moniker John Stone now, join in. During the fight, Joe saves Gut, instantly winning his affection. Gut invites Joe to a rally the gang is having, and that is his in. So yeah, this movie party, I call it a 90s biker movie party, is very stereotypical to any biker film you've seen from the era. Drag racing, yada, 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 drinking, smoking, fighting. It's Joe and Ice that start off with a drag race, and Joe wins at the very end. The pit fighting still going on here, and of course Joe is up against the biker's champion, who obviously wins this confrontation, the only person to beat him. Really shoddy editing here, because throughout the quick cuts, Joe's gloves vanish and reappear, as does the other guy's vest.
I believe his name was Kenny Omega.
Now his name is Mountain.
Oh, okay.
And he's played by Tom McGee, who had a stellar wrestling match with Bret Hart in '86.
Did you just pull out an AEW reference? Or is this Japan wrestling? Which one are we? New Japan. Which Kenny Omega?
Technically AEW.
Okay. Just checking.
Which I then turned into a WWF.
I heard that. Or WWE.
No.
Did you go WWF? You went old school.
86.
Oh, yeah. That would have been WWF.
Yeah. Or he had a match with Bret Hart, and Bret Hart carried him and made him look so good that Vince thought that they found a new Hulk Hogan.
Really?
It did not go that way.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, I just saw a clip about that online randomly. I don't even know what it was on.
Kenny Omega and Bret Hart had a match?
No, the guy playing the mountain in this.
The guy playing the mountain. No kidding.
Yeah.
Get out of here. That's amazing. You're talking about the guy who lifted him and broke him over the back. You're talking about the guy in the pit fighting pit, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was built like a brick shithouse.
Yeah, dude, in 1986, Kenny Omega was like 3.
That's what I thought. Stop yelling at me, man. I'm fucking old. I don't know stuff.
I'm old too.
You know less. You invited me onto the show.
No, fair enough. Did you just say I know less?
Yes.
Okay.
And just by the way, Goliath.com has Stone Cold as a number 7 movie, best biker movie of all time out of 10.
Number 7.
Number 7 out of 10.
Give me top 3.
Top 3 would be Easy Rider, of course. Yeah. The Wild One in 1953, of which I'm not familiar, and On Any Sunday in 1991.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we don't know those. The next one would be...
I know them, but...
Oh,
I disagree.
Okay. I'll give you that.
Sorry, you're saying the next...
Oh, the next one after that was a movie titled Electra Glide in Blue. Loveless in 1981. Eye of the Tiger in 86. That sounds like one I'd want to watch.
That's Busey.
Oh, Busey, that is. Oh, what do you got talking about? Get out of here. His role is Buddy Holly, by far.
Yeah.
But anyway, before he cracked his head on a motorcycle accident.
And then we get Ginger Dead Man.
We get Nick Nolte's very, very strange twin brother that was in there a little too long or not long enough.
All right, we're straying here.
We are. It's my fault.
I'm interested. Is there a Charlie Sheen movie on that list?
Beyond the Law in 93? That is Charlie Sheen.
Yeah,
that's the one I thought it was. Okay, yeah. That's number 10.
All right, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
All right. Well, Joe and Gut walk back to Joe's van and find Brotherhood President Chains, played by Lance Henriksen, sitting inside while Nancy digs through Joe's belongings. Chains praises Joe for his work at the bar, then offers up his lady Nancy for Joe's enjoyment, and Joe turns her down. Ice confronts Chains, saying that they should be wary of Joe. Something just doesn't feel right. Okay, the weird thing is, in this entire movie, Ice is the voice of reason. The craziest character in the movie is like, I don't think we should trust him. He seems kind of shady. He hasn't given us a reason to trust him. So maybe we should take our time. I mean, I guess we do get a reason later as to why he's so quick to accept him. But
this is what I'm going to say. They fucking shoot everyone who they know before this. Why the fuck would they not shoot somebody they don't give a shit about?
Who's already getting in their face and disrespecting them. Yeah.
He's already stepping on their turf, man.
Yeah.
His integration was a little quick. I like the way they at least, what I'm saying is at least he took the steps to get there. It just generally takes longer than it did. And did we really want it to go longer than 92 minutes?
Yes.
For plot development, man, we need more Brian Bosworth plot development.
Because he's not hanging around long enough before even being considered to be a prospect. But anyway, I guess it's a few days later now. We return to the compound and see a snapshot of daily life, which is weird as fuck. Obviously, bikers are everywhere, but there are also naked women in open showers in the middle of the compound. Kids are running around playing. Inside the clubhouse, Chains, Ice, and I don't know what this guy's name is. I confuse 3 of them constantly. Are watching an interview with the DA restating his belief on pushing for the death penalty for the biker who murdered the priest. A member from another chapter enters and tosses Chains an envelope of cash, and we learn that this guy deserted the army and joined up with the Brotherhood afterwards. Do you know his name? Because I never got that one either.
I did not get his name.
Nope.
I watched it twice in a couple of days. Nothing. And the weird thing is, it doesn't matter. Nobody's name in this movie matters.
It really doesn't.
Joe
It'd have
Puls.
been Biker 1, Biker 2. They didn't even need names at this point.
You just say, hey, and then cut to somebody
you.
nodding in response, being like, all right, those guys are talking. Cool.
Hey guy, hey buddy.
Yeah. Sideburns. Mustache. That's all you need. Just description. Because we've got like Mudfish, Poker, Greek, Six Pack, Smoky, Big John, One Eye, Hooter, Vitamin, Gut, Tool, Mountain. And you're like, come on, just something.
Where's good old fashioned like Lefty? You know,
And
there's
what-
always a Lefty.
And what biker wants to be called Vitamin? Smoky, I get.
I get Smoky.
Mudfish
Gut, I
is
get
weird.
Gut. Mudfish has got to be something. Yeah, there's a story to that.
I know Mudfish because Mudfish, that actor, is also in T2. He's the guy that Arnold steals the clothes from at the beginning.
Oh yeah, I need your your clothes, your bike, and your motorcycle. Your car. What is it? I need your glasses.
Your
boots.
Is it your boots.
Boots. I need your boots, your
clothes.
clothes, and your motorcycle.
Yeah.
That's the third terrible impression you've done.
I do many terrible impressions, sir. and they're generally not bad. My Schwarzenegger is actually pretty good. I've got many, but I'll spare you.
Bring in the new prospect. Where's Tinsel Teeth?
Hello, Stan. Hey, Stan. Damn it, Wendy. Or what's his sister's name? Hey, Stan.
I'm not
All
getting
right,
your
we
reference.
diverted. Oh, South Park?
Oh, yeah.
The sister, right? Kyle's sister? That beats him up all the time? Stan, you're such a
It's
loser.
not Wendy, is it?
No, Wendy's the girlfriend.
Wendy's the girlfriend.
that he pukes on all the time.
I don't know.
It's only fresh in my head because I saw the new South Park post-COVID thing.
Oh, nice.
It's probably the funniest thing It's hilarious. As someone who's not vaccinated yet, it does not spare me in any way. It's pretty harsh.
I'll check it out. I didn't know it was out already.
Yeah, I think I just saw it. Yeah, it came out like maybe a week ago or this week.
Joe pulls up at the gates and is questioned who he is, which is odd because the biker asking him the question was congratulating him for winning the fight the other day. That's Tool. So I guess he really is a tool. Joe introduces himself as Stone and says he has a gift for chains. So they just let him in. That's security for you. Who are you? Stone. I have a gift for chains. Yeah, it checks out.
Yeah, and I'm roided out and I look like this. Please let me in so I can converse with him in a very non-threatening manner.
Everything is fine. Open the gate. Joe enters the clubhouse. And this movie really does have a lot of nudity in it because this is the shirtless but still wearing a vest kind of topless pool player. The gift that Joe brought, bulletproof vest. Chains is concerned when he notices that the vest is government issued. Joe claims that most of the guns in the compound are government issued. And they just laugh it off. Chains makes Joe put the vest on and shoots him in the chest. Joe attacks him and slams him on the pool table. Ice pulls a knife but is waved off by Chains, who's already pulled his gun. Time for Joe to make a choice, join or die. Now, from my understanding, if you grabbed a chapter president and lifted him off his feet over your head and slammed him onto a pool table,
You're probably already dead.
you're probably dead. Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting the shit beat out of you. You're not getting cut or anything. They're just going to kick you till you die.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to stomp your face in. No joke.
But I get it. I guess there probably wasn't a full oversaturation of like 90s biker movies at this point. So the culture wasn't really common knowledge. I guess a lot of it came from stuff like
Well, this is also
Sons of
movie
Anarchy
action.
later on. Yeah,
right?
it
It's
is
movie
100%
action. Like
movie
you
action.
don't like you hear biker gangs and they're bad people. And how do you move every movie along? You tell the good guy the plot and you let them live. Like
Exactly.
it's like every James Bond movie. I mean, it's crazy. What I found interesting, were there 2 bullet holes in the vest after he just shot him once in the chest?
Yes.
It looked like there were 2 like hole or like 2 blemishes on the vest.
Yeah.
So that seemed really inconsistent.
Honestly, I think it would make more sense if it was established there was already one there, and that's how he got it. Because once you get hit once it gets shot once, you're supposed to get rid of the vest. Even though it can still save your life, it's weakened the plate inside.
That totally makes sense. I just didn't know if I saw 2 because I didn't see 2 prior. I saw it looked very new,
and there
in the
weren't.
beginning.
It is new. I'm saying they should have that written in. That would have made a lot more sense.
Or you just should have shot him twice. Why not just shoot him twice and know it comes out?
Like, this is how I got a government issued vest because they got rid of it because they don't use it. So I have a connection.
Not bad. I don't think they're thinking that deep.
No, nobody in the movie's thinking that deep.
Vitamin. I mean, come on. Vitamin and Gut are like 2 badass bikers.
Yeah. Well, Gut's not really that badass. I don't even know who Vitamin is.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, he was the one who gave her by Flintstones. The chewables.
Which is odd because doesn't Boz look like a grown-up Bam Bam, according to Ice?
He does.
It's an inside job. Anyway. He agrees to join, but first has to prove his worth by retrieving the ear of a man who crossed the territory of the Pensacola chapter with a few keys of Bolivian flake. He'll be able to identify the guy because they have one of his matching spider earrings, and he has a spiderweb tattooed ear. Seems shaky at best, but okay. So Joe sets out on a riding montage. One of the few montages, not that many in this movie. I'm okay with that. He tracks down the man at the Salsa nightclub, knocks him out, and takes him to the police station where they take photographs of the man's spiderweb tattooed ear. It's smart, I guess. I thought it was pretty clever. Joe gets a tattoo artist to replicate the tattoo on the ear of a corpse. They then give the man a warning not to come back, put him on a private plane, and send him off. That part seemed shady. There's no guarantee. It seems
weird that there's a recurrence of that person. That person would disappear for good.
Yeah, you'd think so. Or just lock him up.
Well, I mean, it'd be like witness protection or some sort, I would think.
Yeah. Joe returns to the clubhouse with the severed ear, complete with earring. Chains jokingly tries to give the ear and earrings to Nancy. She's not amused. Joe's day's not over, though. He's tasked to oversee Tool and Nancy as they do some collecting downtown. Ice is pissed because that's his job. Next, we learn that Chains has a connection within the Biloxi police when he calls in a background check on John Stone. I thought that was good writing.
That was excellently done.
Yeah, definitely bring in like a
sounded thorough
police connection.
Yeah. I mean, he had connections everywhere, it seems, right?
Yeah. Super smart character that makes really dumb choices. I don't know.
That's what I find. The recklessness of the actions of the character do not reflect the strategy that he has spent, like, creating this web of infrastructure for himself. It really seems counterproductive for me.
Yeah, I agree completely. Which is weird because you think somebody who is writing their own lines, somebody as smart as he is, would be pointing out character actions on top of the lines that he's creating. Because like that's something you could rework on the fly slightly just to make it a little bit more believable.
Do you think they had time constraints or budget constraints they were just cranking through?
Oh, definitely. After having to get rid of 4 weeks of shooting.
That's what I'm thinking. They must have rushed through. It did seem a little bit rushy.
It did.
If you compare it to like an Action Jackson, like for example, they seem similar, but Action Jackson seemed to have a little bit longer of a plot.
Yeah, it really did. And Sandra, you'll agree with me on this. We've been covering a lot of movies lately that seem to have a really slow build, and then the third act is just like a flash in the pan. Like it starts and everything happens, and then it's just over, and you're like, oh.
Right, every loose end is tied up in 10 minutes, but it took an hour and a half to develop the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
This one is that on steroids. Because we just get a crazy action scene, and then there's like a segment within that's like a flip book where every page just flips by super fast, but it's a different scene with different people. So it definitely felt rushed, specifically for me towards the end.
Yeah, the way everything closed out.
Yeah. I love the way this movie ended, though. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that for sure.
After collecting money from a brothel, Tool gets caught in an explosion from a grenade launched at him by Italian mobsters, furious about the bikers collecting in their territory. It's a weird way to introduce that element, but pretty brutal at the same time. They next attack Nancy, grabbing her bag and speeding away. Joe jumps on the hood of the car.
what racketeering person is going to throw a fucking grenade at the city block that he's offering protection?
Oh yeah.
That was ridiculous.
Not only does it completely destroy any potential of anybody wanting to actually give you money without going to somebody else.
If I were to rewrite this, I would have had one of the mob guys go in to collect the same place where one of the biker guys is collecting, and then have a fricas inside.
Because they didn't take Tool's money.
No, they just told him to get off the block. I mean, did what they did.
Yeah, they told him with a grenade, but
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, Joe jumps on the hood of the car, only ditching when they pull a gun on him. Also, Action Jackson roof of car scene. So I found that kind of like a fun nod.
There was, when you think about it in that way, there's a lot of very similar style of setup scenes.
Yeah,
in that way, but different characters, of course.
Yeah, Joe doesn't do a standing front flip over a moving car, though.
Kobe did it once, man.
I have no knowledge of this.
Oh, allegedly Kobe Bryant did it. You probably YouTube it, but it could be fake.
I hope he did.
It'd be pretty cool.
Awesome stunt.
Yeah.
The car is T-boned by a passing truck, and a fist fight ensues. One of the Italians pulls a gun on Joe and instructs him to tell Chains that the bikers are done on his turf. Joe approaches Nancy and demands answers. Apparently that was Demichi. He stole the money and now Chains is going to kill her? Which seems crazy because when Joe replaces the $400 that was stolen, he tells her not to forget who it came from. Which is a really weird fucking thing to say.
That stuck out to me too.
It must not be a very successful brothel if their collection is $400.
It's 1991, guys. It's totally different. I don't know.
But that line, though.
It was weird. Yeah, don't forget where it came from.
Yeah, don't forget who it came from.
It almost makes you set up that you're going to use her in witness protection in some way, right? Or some kind of, it seemed like a foreshadowing of that. But it seemed like a really bad phrase. And how the hell did that car drive away after getting side smashed by a fucking box truck? That thing was bent in half. It was a Dodge freaking, like a K car. And why are they not driving Cadillacs if they're fucking mob? Like, I thought some of that was so thrown in, like you threw another element in and thought nothing about it.
And that's the thing too, because like for the most part, whenever you see the mob, it could just be different criminals and would work almost as well.
Do you know what I think it would have been great? I think what they wanted to do, they said, all right, we need a scene where a motorcycle helmet has a head in it. And we got to figure out how to make that end up in this movie. And then they reverse engineered it.
I still don't understand it. Was there a
soft
scene that I missed?
No, it didn't make any sense.
Right.
Wasn't he in the motorcycle helmet?
I don't remember.
Later?
I was trying to figure it out.
We're talking about when he gives him a gift? I know I'm jumping a little ahead. I know, but isn't that... Yeah. But I feel like that's what they were doing. Is like they wanted that scene to happen, and then they go, "How do we get to that scene?"
You could have started by having them be bikers instead of in cars,
right? I mean, I don't know where the motorcycle helmet element of the present originated.
I didn't either, and I think it's just that it's hidden.
Okay,
not that the guy's a biker, right? It seems odd. And first of all, they're all fat Italians. They should be driving freaking Cadillacs. Like, what are you doing? Driving a Dodge? A Dodge? A Chrysler? Like, no offense, they're great cars for what they are, but like Cadillacs are like the mob thing, and you're a movie, you can afford a Cadillac.
Also, is there a major mob presence in Mississippi?
Not much of one.
Yeah, I found that kind of strange too.
But maybe that's why it was only $400 also that they were collecting.
Yeah, it could be.
I reckon I got me my gold tooth I can give you.
Barter system. The Brotherhood arrives at Singing River Hospital to check on Tool, and he is not doing well. The boys all cheer when they see him, bringing him his cut, beers, pizza, and their high spirits. But he's been badly maimed and begs for Chains to kill him, and that was probably some of the better acting in this movie. And here we also get a twisted sense of family that often comes up when you do any research on bikers and biker culture. I've done a fair amount. Chains refuses to kill Tool He's proven himself as a loyal brother and will forever be looked after by the gang. But it's really dark and very sadly twisted commitment. As Chains is forcing Marie to marry Toole and look after him for the rest of his life. And the poor girl is obviously being forced against her will, but apprehensively goes along with the rules of the life she chose to follow. It's a very uncomfortable scene.
It is. It's actually, to your point, it's like the best scene in the whole movie, because you're thinking like these biker gangs literally care about nothing. They just want destruction, nihilism. They want it all to burn down.
Yeah.
And then one of their brothers gets hurt. And the show of support and love and whatever, yes, it's backwards in the fact that they put this other young woman in basically servitude, right? Indentured servitude for the rest of her life. But they are going to watch her. They're going to take care of them. And it's like, what? It's so odd, because when you hear about that, like, look, even in today's world in general, you hear these people do bad things, but they have a family too.
Yeah.
And they probably treat their family much differently than they treat their job. Or whatever, you know?
Definitely.
And it really showed the closeness of like the tight-knit group that a family, they were so supportive. They were like the first ones to be there and help them talk them off the ledge, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Also, Sandro, I know you're not going to recognize the person, but the actor who plays Marie was Brenda James from Cutting Class.
All right, then.
I knew I'd get you with that one. Just then,
the odds were on your side, man.
A news broadcast comes across television. Whipperton has set up some checkpoints with the National Guard to hunt down the Brotherhood. Ice smashes the television and tells Toole that if he were there, this never would have happened. Which is probably true.
It's not.
You don't think so?
Well, I mean, whatever the burnt to a crisp biker's name is, Toole. When he got hit with the grenade was when the two bikers went to separate businesses. So if Ice was in Stone's place, he just would have been in the brothel at the time that Toole got hit with the grenade anyway.
Yeah, my theory on that is Ice knows that they're probably just going to go after whoever's wearing the vest. I really don't think that he would have gone with Nancy at all. Or he would have been looking at, God, like, who knows what Joe's doing? Like, he's obviously just hanging out with Nancy.
Like I said, I thought that's, okay, we get to town and we now separate. You guys go to this business, we'll go to this business. We're not going in one big group. So as soon as we're separated is when Toole gets hit with their grenade. If they're separating to hit all the businesses, they're not going to be together all the time, even if Ice is the one that's there.
Yeah, but they're also in the same neighborhood.
I'm failing to see how this would prevent a grenade from being thrown at Toole when he's by himself.
I'm just saying, I think they only threw it at Toole because he was a biker wearing the colors by himself. If there were more...
Well, I think to Sandra's point is like they had two couples that split up and were doubling their efforts, right? So they wouldn't have been together. Ice would not have been with Toole at any time. Would have been with either one or the other woman, one of the women, right? So they wouldn't split up. And then the mob guys saw him, and then that's when they reacted, right? Who the fuck has just a grenade lying around as well? Like, oh, I see a guy. Here, let me grenade at him. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It does seem like it was planned.
It seems odd. It seemed like they were trying to make it look very spontaneous, didn't they? Like, oh, that's that guy. It's not like they were driving around looking for guys to fuck up.
I guess we're all trying to justify 90s movie logic.
That's a good point.
I think you two are more accurate than I, though. So,
I'm tapping out.
I'll side with you.
I'm tapping out. I'm tapping.
Maybe
he would have been walking by himself, right? Maybe he would have been the target. You're saying, because maybe he would have been walking down the street down the other side, and that's where they would have targeted him instead.
Yeah,
is what you're thinking, right?
Yeah. At the clubhouse, Joe gives Chains a small vial containing a clear liquid. This is a drug called P2P. Joe knows a driver looking to unload 12 tons of it, which just seems like way too much. But Chains is into it, and Joe says he needs protection and a buyer. And that's up to the club, but this is his deal. Chains has a link with other mobsters, so they're good to go. That seems a little rushed.
There was no backstory on P2P.
No.
Let's use another example. Do you remember Harley Davidson and Marlboro Man?
Yes, I love that movie.
One of my favorite movies of all times. And remember what's this new drug, right? It's called
Crystal Dream.
Crystal Dream. It's called the Dream, right? But they explain what the hell it is. What the hell is P2P? Like, I had no idea. There was no connection to what it was. You know, obviously we knew it was a drug, but like, there's nothing that explained what it did and how it worked, kind of.
Yeah, and they show in one point where like a guy's gonna put his nose above the vial and just smell it.
Yeah,
and he's like, I wouldn't do that if I were you.
I wouldn't smell that for you. And I'm like, okay.
Like how?
Yeah, but it wasn't. Was it 12 monkeys? Yeah, like.
Yeah, how potent is this drug that you can't even smell the fumes without getting messed up, and you're buying 12 tons of it?
And I love how it's tons, but it's liquid. Wouldn't it be like 1,000 gallons?
Yeah.
I don't know. Unless it's pre-diluted.
You go more volume than mass.
Yeah. Said they had 36 50-gallon drums. So I don't know how they came up with weight on one side and another. 90s logic, guys.
Chains interrupts the dinner. Oh, here we go. Interrupts the dinner with the mobsters and gives them a motorcycle helmet as a gift. He tells them to open the visor and they see it contains a severed head. I didn't know whose head it was, though, so.
I'm assuming it was Demici's, no?
I thought it was Demici's, too. I have that written down here, but I don't know.
That's what
I couldn't tell it was him. I thought it was a horrible way to present it.
Yeah.
Well,
so
there was a subtle part a little bit before that where Stone asks Chains, like, what about them? Right? Like, kind of implying retribution. Yeah. And Chains says, oh, don't worry. We got that taken care of. And then immediately after they follow with a scene with a severed head and a helmet, it just kind of made sense that that's how they had it taken care of.
Yeah.
Right. They implied it for sure. But once again, as everything seemed rushed here, like one sentence here and one sentence added there would change or would add so much depth to this.
Yeah. I realized something today. Like when we're wearing masks outside, I don't recognize anybody. I don't. And I think this must be the best time ever for Brad Pitt because you keep hearing throughout the years that he has that condition where he can't remember faces, so he doesn't recognize faces. He's like, I just put the mask on and I'm fine. It's okay if I don't remember who these people are.
That's smart. He's a smart man. I didn't know he had that whatever it is.
It may just be a rumor, but I've heard it for a long time from many sources.
I think that so many people throw themselves at him that he just doesn't remember. He just has the information overload.
It just comes up with it. He's like, look, I got this thing. Sorry.
Trust me, you're not worth me remembering you, so I just won't.
He gets the Italians in on the P2P deal. 36 drums of the drug at $50K per drum for a sick $1.8 million. Question. What are they going to do about that tablecloth? There's definitely going to be one giant circle of blood on there. They're going to have to be like, let's just...
With the helmet?
Yeah.
They carterized it. Or they closed the bottom of it.
That seems too clean for them, but all right.
I know.
It was just a joke.
Yeah. I agree, but what's in the box?
Yeah, speaking of Brad Pitt.
Yes, Brad Pitt.
James is watching the Whipperton video on repeat. Definitely not obsessed or anything. That night, Ice meets with Chains to further discuss the distrust of Joe. Chains is still hesitant to suspect the man he knows as John Stone. Sorry. Joe talks to Lance. Cunningham wants to act now to take down the Brotherhood, but Joe says the case is too weak and lets Lance in on his plan to take down the bikers and the mob at the same time. From Lance, he needs 3 dozen drums of P2P, a truck, and an agent to act as a dealer. He says he'll also get Nancy to act as a witness, which is rather confident and unfounded to me at this point.
Also, why would you name one of the characters Lance when your main character's real name is Lance?
Yeah.
It just seems super dumb.
It is super dumb.
You've got a plethora of names. It might have been. Maybe.
Can you imagine the other FBI agent was Henriksen?
Mm-hmm. Hey, Henry. Lance Henry.
Yeah.
Lance and Henry. That would have been good.
I get that the FBI is resourceful, but that's a lot that he's asking for.
In a very short period of time. Yeah, like it happened the next day.
Yeah, I just need, gallons upon gallons of this stuff. You got that in the evidence locker, right?
Why? Yeah, they're just storing 3 dozen drums of it. Why not just get like a drum of the drug and the rest of some similar type of liquid, similar consistency?
What if they test the third barrel in?
Well, yeah, they might test the barrels by sniffing them.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna have all our prospects sniff the barrels.
If you're all right after sniffing it, we know you faked it.
We know you're full of shit, man.
I also just want you guys to know that the drug doesn't always hit everybody at the same rate, so it might take longer for some. Cut to the previously mentioned National Guard checkpoints. Brotherhood rolls up and are stopped, asked for the registrations, and things get weirdly violent. 2 guards are nailed into crates and then shot point blank by chains.
Yeah, this didn't seem like this was a quick escalation to how this biker gang conducts themselves. I mean, I get that they handle business with violence, but like the one guy even says, "It's just trying to do my job."
Yeah. Yeah, it does not seem like something Chains would do.
Nope.
And I just, like, it seems like he's getting crazier and crazier, but the more you look into it, there's no reason.
Are you talking about the motivation here or the entire movie?
The motivation.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say the entire movie because Nancy made it clear that he's lost his shit and it's spiraling out of control more and more because of his obsession, right?
Yeah.
So she did make a point about it, but to your point, it's like there's no way that you would get to where you got if you were not organized the way you were initially organized.
Yeah. Nancy freaks out and is restrained by Mudfish, and Ice gives Chains one of his women.
How much shit went down in public places that there was zero repercussions? Like in any of the scenes?
The entire movie.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, the entire movie.
That disappointed me. It seemed too easy to not get caught. Or like, how the hell could you not have gotten caught?
Yeah. I mean, also, like, no repercussions from the biggest response to anything that happened in this movie was the robbery at the grocery store at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gut speaks up, telling everyone that this is no longer the Brotherhood he joined, and killing people in cold blood isn't right. He next makes the dumbest move possible by confronting Chains and telling him what he's doing is not right. And is he actually that dumb? As we've said before, do you challenge the chapter president in front of everybody, telling him he's wrong? And as punishment, Chains sticks Gut's hand in the spokes of a spinning wheel.
Yeah, that's not fun.
Yeah. I never even thought to look when we see Gut later on if...
I did, and think that I thought his fingers were there.
Yeah, okay.
And I think he just washed them up, but it sounded like he was grinding them off. But
that's what I thought too. That was the implication, I think. That night, Nancy confesses Chain's actions to Joe. She regrets staying as long as she did and should have left before D-Day and before Chains flipped. Joe has no idea what D-Day is, and neither does Nancy, but it's why Chains needs all of his money, why he got involved with the mob, and why he eagerly jumped at Joe's P2P deal. She says she's going to leave, and Joe reminds her of her brand, GFBD, God forgives, Brotherhood doesn't. And if she leaves, they'll kill her. Did either of you look at trivia for this movie?
No, sir.
No.
Because apparently Boz's football buddies thought the motto was pretty cool and used it for a while before finding out that the saying is attached to the Aryan Brotherhood.
That's hilarious. Sounds exactly what a blonde-haired white guy would do from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He tells her that he came to the Brotherhood to get what he needed and to get out, and if she plays by his rules, then he'll bring her with him. And they kiss. Also a very risky move. What if somebody saw them? Also, what about Joe's girlfriend? Oh, over, I guess. Police and more National Guard.
I don't know if there was a girlfriend. It just happened to be a girl that was over, right? Like,
I'm just going off the credit of Joe's girlfriend. Probably
JT
not.
Leroy. JT Leroy would just need to get stuffed once. She's needed, She had an itch, or he had an itch, or I don't know.
I think this is pre-Leroy.
Oh, okay, I just wanted to check.
Police and more National Guard find the 2 murdered soldiers, one of which has a Whipperton election poster with the DA's face crossed out, which is pretty blatant. So I guess act of war at that point.
And to go back on that scene, those National Guard people were the stupidest people since the Army people in The Happening.
Yeah.
You remember the military people in The Happening?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They were dumb. Who the fuck lets you walk up to them as bikers, like turning side, like blocking off the road on the bridge?
Yeah, no.
None of that made sense. They're sitting there like completely casually, just, we're dropping our guns, we're just going to hang out here.
I'm also not entirely informed on how to achieve position in the National Guard.
I would think if you're standing a blockade as vehicles approach, you have the gun holding like a stance, like finger on the guard by the guard and hand on the bottom of it, right? Like sideways.
That would make sense.
That's just how you hold it. I mean, that's just generally how, not at someone, you're not pointing it at people, but you're just generally holding it.
Yeah, well.
Maybe they just picked the best bridge or the worst bridge. I don't know. Maybe they're that smart.
Nancy and Joe are at a bar and she's sharing stories of her rough upbringing. A server delivers a note to Joe. He excuses himself from the table to make a phone call, but gets on his bike and drives away. Ice stares him down as he leaves.
And presumably follows him, I assume.
Yeah, which he does. We just never see him actually.
We never see it, right? That's what I'm saying. I presume.
Yeah, we also never hear it. Which that's
the other thing is like the boss is driving through all of these like super secret places, and you're like, yeah, that's not so secretive.
Even when he shows up like 20-30 feet away from Joe and Lance, who Joe's on the way to meet right now, nobody hears it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's you.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It turns out the note was for a meeting with Lance. The agent tells Joe that they found the soldiers' corpses and now he's off the case. Joe refuses to leave. Lance reminds him that now he's just an Alabama cop who is out of his jurisdiction, which is a great point. Let's not forget that he's got no backup now and is just a cop on suspension hanging with murderous Mississippi biker gangs. He has no reason to stay. Just grab Nancy and get out of there.
Oh, Nancy is the reason.
That's
and I think the other guy.
Go.
Yeah, but what about the moron guy that got his hand caught? The guy that like totally fell in love with him the second.
Gut,
I guess. Yeah.
I think he's convinced Gut's not going to make it.
Okay, he's already written him off.
I think everybody's written him off at this point.
That's a good point.
Yeah, here's what I was saying earlier. Joe's amazing detective skills failed to notice Ice pull up on a loud motorcycle 30 feet away. Ice yells out, opens fire on the two, and speeds off. How has it taken this long for Joe to blow his cover? He is so incredibly careless.
Yeah.
And the thing is, as we go, this is just the first time.
And then he went to that factory or that industrial complex later.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, a motorcycle engine that reverberates and echoes throughout a place. That's more subtle.
During the chase, Ice murders a cop and blows up his car, but still can't hit Joe because movies. Joe rides alongside a car.
Wait, they shot the police car like on the second bullet, the thing exploded into like.
Yep. It was a good squib effect for when he hit.
It was beautiful
driving though.
Oh yeah, it was great.
The car explosion makes no sense. But yeah, Joe.
I don't think you needed the explosion. I think you should have shot the cop, and they could have done that 90-degree careen and then go off to some corner and just roll over or something.
Yeah, the ramp that's always visible on camera.
Yeah, the A-team ramp.
Yeah. Joe rides alongside a car for cover, and Ice simply pulls up to the driver's window and slashes the driver's arm, sending the car in Joe's direction, which is probably the best crazy biker move I've seen in a movie yet. Because he just pulls right up, and I forget what he says. It's something along the lines of, "Hi," and then just slashes his arm.
I thought that was well done.
Instinct is going to make you want to get away from him. So you yank the wheel to the right, but Joe's on your right-hand side, and you're just going to ram him into the wall.
It totally makes sense. I thought it was well done.
It's very well done. The chase ends when Joe rams Ice's bike into an oncoming car, which when the two collide, the car explodes from the rear, and somehow Ice flies backward, not forward.
Yeah, he doesn't go over the handlebars.
No,
I found that odd.
Yeah. Regardless, Ice dies.
Very shitty way. I thought he was too deep of a character or too good of an actor or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Too deep of a or too important to go that quickly or that easily.
Yeah. An amazing
we find
actor
that
playing a great character wasted.
Right, truly. Yeah. They should have utilized him more.
Yeah. Nancy gets a call from Chain's police contact with a message for him. John Stone's driver's license is linked to a man named Joe Huff. She makes it she restates that and repeats it. Joe Huff. All right.
Did you find it weird that she answers the phone and she's like, "Oh, let me relay this message through you to Chains?" They would never do that. They'd be like, no. Tell Chains to call me back.
Yeah. And right now I have cover blown twice in one day. Nancy looks crushed, and I get it. He gave her an alias. But she's been with a man called Chains for years. Every person she knows isn't using their real name, so I don't know why she's so upset. Joe returns to the compound just after Toole and Murray's wedding. Nancy calls him out for vanishing and then for being a cop, which he denies. He plays it off well, too, and the best way you could, he's like, "So yeah, I've got a few names." Well done.
He doesn't deny being a cop.
Yeah.
He tells her, "Yeah, you're right, I'm a cop."
Not at that point.
All right.
That happens in the truck.
No.
Yes, because Lance blows his cover and she's furious.
Yeah, it's the next day, I think.
Yeah, it's after the drug deal.
Well, then the subtitles were wrong on YouTube.
Oh.
Wow, I've never really run into an issue with YouTube subtitles before.
I thought it happened. I just thought it was a different scene, but I could be wrong.
I don't know. I don't remember it. I think
I just remember her getting mad. He goes, "Yeah, so I got a lot of names." Did she then say, "Are you a cop?" Or was that a different scene? So
no,
right after Sandra's point.
Right after that, she says, "Look me in the eyes
and tell me you're not a cop." And he said, "I am one."
Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah, I just didn't know when it happened. So I'll trust you, Sandra, that happened then.
No, it was that scene. She's confronting
Yeah, that scene.
him.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
I believe you. Mm-hmm. I thought it was different.
That must be an editing issue then, because that makes no sense to the rest of the story.
I mean, I played it back because I was surprised that he just admitted it.
It made no sense because I saw him go, "Yeah, I am," and I'm like, "What the fuck? What? What are you doing, man?"
I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that afterwards, because we all remember when Lance messages him on the radios him on the CB. That's when she finds out he's a cop, and he even says, "You just blew my cover."
Yeah, but
then he might have said, "I'm not a cop."
No, here's the thing, Ben. She might have just taken him as being sarcastic or mocking her.
That's a good point.
Because she says, "Look me in the eyes and tell me you're not a cop," and it's not like he does it with any sort of.
That's right.
Emotion.
He does. He goes. "Yeah, I'm a cop." He does kind of give a little smugginess to it. I give you your point. I get your point.
All right, so that would make sense then.
It shows the shittiness of the Boz's acting.
Yeah, of which he's never done before.
Yeah, unfortunately done a lot since.
Yeah, he's tried to. That night they have a Viking funeral for Ice. He's being perched on his bike atop a pyre, ready to be set aflame, and I'm still uncertain as to how they got the body. Chains delivers a eulogy with erroneous lines like, "If you tried to outride him, you'd crash and burn," even though that's how we really saw him and Joe butt heads, was Joe and Ice drag racing and Ice losing. Chains puts a lit cigar in his dead friend's mouth. Mudfish splashes Ice with gasoline, and Chains throws a torch on the pyre, which is immediately engulfed in flames. There's actually a fair amount going on in this 92-minute movie.
I found it extremely deep. I felt like they tried to cram it all in. That's why it felt rushed. Yeah. I thought there was a lot of content and not enough time to do it.
Joe meets up with Lance Cunningham and the other undercover agent to finalize the plan for the staged deal. The agent will pose as the truck driver/dealer and will only have to deal with Joe. During that deal, the agent and Joe have a well played out back and forth, resulting in Joe fake murdering the agent and giving the dealer's cut to Chains. The bikers ride off, leaving Joe and Nancy to take the truck. And this is the scene where we get Lance calling. He gets a call from the police checkpoint informing him that the convoy's been taken on an unexpected turn. So Lance radios Joe and the CB to ask what's going on. And okay, so like cover blown again. Nancy freaks out. Joe offers her immunity at that point. But why would you use the CB? Why would you think that's a good idea? Anybody could be listening into that.
I think they assume that those channels, they assume that the American public, or not the American, the public just doesn't know shit about how walkie-talkies work. He probably thinks they're all in the same channel, doesn't know that other people can actually listen in.
No, it was full-on CB that he was using, too.
Well, I know we know that, but like maybe other people don't know how CB works. Like,
no, okay, fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, we pick channel 6. That doesn't mean other people can't pick channel 6.
Yeah. I don't know.
I
just thought
I'm
that
trying
would be
to
a
help.
way of advertising to anybody that there's some weird, shady undercover stuff going down.
If honestly, I would have thought that would have been another blown cover issue where someone else heard that. Considering they're probably talking on the same fucking channel that everyone else is. Like, where do they even think to use CB? Whatever.
Yeah.
My head's gonna.
The convoy meets the rest of the Brotherhood and the Italians. I love how an angry Joe just points at someone and says, "Get off my horse," and then speeds away. He returns.
I like the other guy. I like when they shot the trucker. He's like, "I got me $1 million and I got 50,000 for it. That's not even 10%. You're right. That's like 5%. How about fucking saying that's only 5%? Give me more." I just thought like not even 10% was so dumb.
Yeah.
To say like that was unnecessary.
There are definite problems with the writing.
I feel like there were missed opportunities because they could have added some things at certain places. Like 1 or 2 sentences would have clarified a lot of things. And the removal of stupid shit would have just helped you from being totally confused.
That'd be a great subtitle for a sequel.
Stone Cold 2.
Missed opportunities.
Starring Stone Cold Steve Austin this time. Give me a hell yeah.
Couldn't be bikers that time though.
No. It would be beer drinkers. Texas rattlesnake. Cowboys is what it would be.
Cowboys.
It'd have to be. It's in Texas.
From Dallas.
From Dallas.
Got to keep some sort of football reference.
Continuity. Oh, there you go. And then we'll get Debbie from Debbie Does Dallas.
There you go.
We'll have her come down.
He returns to the rendezvous point and tells Lance they have a few problems. Jane's pulled a switch on him, so the drugs are going out. And he heard somebody say they're going to crack the whip, code for killing Whipperton. Joe is certain his cover has not been blown, which is hilarious, and goes after the truck. He tries to convince the mob to pull over, but they deny. The next best option, shoot out the trailer connector to the truck, which sends the trailer sliding into a gas station, igniting the pumps and blowing up the entire trailer and gas station. Drugs destroyed. They
really assume that we do not know how tractor trailers hitch into the fucking truck.
I was going to say the hitch.
And the hoses are only for pressure brakes and for fucking electricity for the brake lights.
Yeah. Yep. They make a lot of assumptions about the intelligence of the viewers.
I almost turned it off and was like, dude, I'm out. Right at that moment, it was that moment that did it for me. That'd be like shooting at a train coupling and it coming apart.
Yeah, like at first I was watching, I'm like, is he just trying to shoot the cables?
And if he was doing that, that's fine, because then it's out of control and it can't break or something. And I get that. I'm totally fine with that part. But for it to do what it did after he shot those off. I do like that, though. He did have to take many shots. It's not like he was a fucking crackpot shooter.
Yeah.
Like, he was not a sharpshooter by any means. He definitely went with volume.
It was still incredibly stupid.
Oh, yeah, totally dumb.
Yeah.
But that it took like 5 or 6 shots to actually hit the target, I'm like, wow, that's semi-realistic.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like they're not trying.
They're trying. They try too hard.
They're just uninformed.
Yeah, they're assuming that we don't do shit.
Uninformed.
The reinformation.
The next day, the army biker pays another soldier $200,000 for weapons and $50,000 for a helicopter. Soldier reminds them they have to have everything back by 10 p.m. Obviously not 10 p.m. the same day, though. Joe arrives at the compound and is immediately worried when he sees the chopper. I was really confused with this scene originally. Maybe I just wasn't fully paying attention. But he's taken to the clubhouse where an angry Chains informs him they're having a going away party for Joe. Guns are pulled on our hero, and the Bolivian man he supposedly killed to join the Brotherhood makes an appearance. Cover blown again. I have this down as 4 times now. But leading up to this reveal, I thought that Nancy had ratted him out by the way she was acting.
That's the way they implied it, and that's what I think we were supposed to think. And then that guy came out from behind the thing. I will say that was actually a twist that I did not expect that guy to show up, because I did assume that Nancy ratted on him, but I don't think she did.
See, exactly. But my problem with that is this movie isn't that smart.
I know, but I feel like they tried to be over smart, and that's what kind of dumbed it. But in this case, it worked.
I guess.
Sandra, what do you think? Do you think that he implied that, but then tricked him?
Yes.
Anything to add?
No.
All right.
That's the answer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chains kills the Bolivian and then shoots Nancy in the head, telling Joe tomorrow they crack the whip.
My favorite part.
Yeah.
His love interest is gone. I love that he has no love interest left. I love that she's dead. And I don't mean that she's dead. I don't mean it for her. But like, how many guys at the end of action movies walk away with a girl or the girl or whatever?
All the time.
All the time. This woman is gone before the final scene.
Yeah.
We're not even at the end yet.
Yeah, it basically just sets him free for pure revenge when he gets a chance. The next day, we hear a news broadcast covering how heavily policed the Capitol building will be for the sentencing. At the compound, delivery truck is being modified. The army biker is fine-tuning a bomb, and Brotherhood members are being handed radios. People are lined up outside the court to be searched with metal detectors, and we get the reveal of Chains in line, now with short hair and dressed as a priest. He even walks past Lance and Cunningham, and neither recognize him. All he did was cut his hair and not wear sunglasses.
He does look quite different.
Guys, he doesn't look quite different. What are you talking about?
It's like a completely different person.
Okay.
The hair definitely. I'll say this because in that scene, when I saw him, when they were having a little more action, when they were having a little fracas at the end, I was like, wow, he looks different. And it was definitely the haircut that did it.
Yeah, but he is the
I get
most
what you're saying.
Unique face ever.
Yeah, the guy looks unique for sure. And he wasn't hiding. It's not like he was wearing the hooded like priest outfit. It was like open, right?
Yeah, it's like, let me not cover my eyes. This is my full face that you can see freely. The police aren't even looking. And for as much of a police and military presence there is outside the building, there is nothing inside.
And how the fuck did they get all the weapons inside?
No idea. And they're just taped to the bottom of the seats.
And there are a shit ton of them.
Yeah. I do love, though, how angry Chains looks when the undercover agent from the drug deal sits directly in front of him. He's so angry.
He's like, I got fucking played. He's like, I was a sucker? God damn it.
But the thing is, yeah. That's just it. It's adding, like, fuel to that fire. So, like, the intensity's going up. It's great.
Dude's fucking unhinged already.
Yeah.
And, like, it's not like, I think he's got, like, PTSD to the point where, like, any trigger just sets him off.
Yeah. What do you think of the new plan for Joe? To strap the bomb to him and throw him out of the helicopter into the courthouse.
That was awesome. Like, oh, it's going to take 20 seconds? Or what's your point? What are you trying to do? We're going to strap it to you at 20 seconds within clock. You're not going to, like, have it stationary, start at 20 seconds, then push him out?
Yeah.
Like, it made no sense. We're going to just count down this clock. And at 20 seconds, we're going to strap it to you, then throw you out.
And as they're about to attach the bomb to him, he breaks free of his ties, and a fight begins. Helicopter losing control because they thought it was smart to tie Joe's arms to the wiring cables in the cockpit.
Yeah, it looked like the pneumatics. It looked like the hydraulic stuff.
It's absolutely ridiculous. So he just breaks free, and the helicopter's busted for a while anyway. And a lot happens at once here, so bear with me. I'm just going to whip through a couple of things. The court agrees to the death penalty. Joe stuffs the bomb in a biker and kicks him out of the chopper. Chains kills the agent. The fake delivery truck drives through the barricades, eventually revealing the cargo to be the Brotherhood. Chains shoots many other people in the courtroom, and yes, murders the hell out of Whipperton.
And everyone. Jesus.
Yeah.
The
Which is
judges
weird, though,
and
because
the
you see
priests.
later on, and there's a lot of people who are uninjured in that courtroom. But it seems like he kills everybody at first.
It seemed like he killed all important people that he wanted to.
Oh, he definitely killed all the important people.
Because they were just I'm like, here, get me. I'm next. Yeah, here we go.
The Brotherhood are driving down the halls of the courthouse, murdering people, and eventually taking hostages. Joe forces the army biker to take the chopper down, and in doing so, almost rams the barricade. I can only assume this was so that the police could see that Joe is in the helicopter and not to shoot it down. That's the only thing I can think of. Chains and...
I don't know.
Yeah. Chains and Trouble get on bikes to ride to the chopper. Others are instructed to hold the building, but upon the realization that Joe is alive, he tells them all to bail. Everybody's on their own. Joe jumps from the helicopter, falls about 100 feet through a plate glass window, and lands on a marble floor and somehow suffers no damage.
Bullshit.
And yeah, let the ass kicking commence. Bullshit what?
I'm watching that and I'm like, there's no way he came out of that unscathed. And just
Yeah, well, he has a couple pressure cuts, and that's it.
and just springs back up like he didn't even have the air, like the wind knocked out of him.
No.
The
not at
dude jumps, lands fine, pushes that dude, and if you look at his legs in the background, he's standing like his legs are completely like extended straight out. Like he's standing very statuesque. But you only see like his legs. It's really odd. The dude should have at least done a roll when he landed or something. I don't know. He like went straight down like 30 feet.
Yeah.
At least. It's got to be 40, maybe 40.
It's probably
There's
40,
no
yeah.
Yeah, there's no way. No.
We do get some pretty fun, insane shootout scenes. Gut and Mudfish get into a fight. Gut sees Joe and tries to leave with him, but is shot by Mudfish. Joe jumps in, blows him away, throwing Mudfish's body through a window and onto a car below, which looked amazing on impact. The plan is for Chains and the other biker, I forget his name, to ramp through a window and onto the helicopter outside, but Joe steps into the way. Chains gets off the bike and the other member races down towards Joe. He shoots the biker and the motorcycle does indeed ramp through the window, but somehow manages to make the helicopter explode before hitting it. I don't know if you caught that. I'm assuming both of you did.
The whole helicopter thing just made very little sense.
Yeah.
And any of that could have just not been there.
Yeah. Because I don't know how they would have done it successfully and not have something go wrong like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love how like the front wheel of the bike is just about to touch the helicopter and it explodes.
Like, honestly, it would have been better if the helicopter had like a gunner on it and then like Boz rode his motorcycle off the roof of the building and then rode it into the rotors of the helicopter or something. That would be like, not him rode it, but like, jumped off and launched it at the helicopter and then landed like normal, like he did from 40 feet.
Statuesque.
I got this.
Now it's down to our hero and our villain. Joe obviously wins the beatdown here, but spares the biker's life. He beat the shit out of Chains. It was incredibly one-sided. Cunningham congratulates Joe just as Chains grabs the gun off of an officer who's helping him by holding him in place and upright, which is strange. Before he can get a shot off, 2 gunshots take him out, sending him reeling backwards over the railing and into the fountain below. The true hero of the day? Lance. As credits roll, a bloodied Joe walks out the front door of the courthouse, down the steps, and just keeps going. But where? We don't know. We have no idea where he's walking to.
No woman, no girlfriend, nothing.
Freeze frame, fade to black. So that's Stone Cold. Anybody care to guess any ratings or budget info here? Let's start with budget.
Look, man, Lance and Ice was a good. Lance, Ice, Robert Grant, all those guys were like pretty hot. I feel like it was a pretty decent cast. If you think of like Action Jackson, same thing, right? Sharon Stone, I know it was early Sharon, but Sharon Stone and Craig T. fucking Nelson, that's pretty impressive. You know what I mean? Like those are real solid actors.
Yeah.
And I felt like Lance Henriksen is like one of my. He's just phenomenal. Sure.
William Forsythe, he was pretty prominent in action films. I don't know if he was as much of a legend as at this point as he would become.
He reminds me of like a poor man's John Voight, like a younger John Voight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where he does like action stuff, but it's not like super great. It's just who he is. Like that's what he does.
All right. What's your guess for the budget then?
91.
Yeah,
6 million.
6 million. Sandro.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a lot of explosions.
They did have a lot of explosions.
So I'll see Mark's bet, and I'll say $6,001,000.
Nice. We're going. Price is right, people.
The budget for the movie was 25 million.
Wow. In 91.
91.
Even with the explosions they had, that's
a lot.
Where did that all?
And they don't include. They include salaries of actors, correct?
Yes.
Do you have the highest paid person, or what Boz got for this? Okay.
I don't.
I was just curious.
Anyone care to guess the gross?
No way it made its money back.
I'm gonna go 18.
Let me tell you this. In its first week, it made 2.8 million.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Brian Bosworth. I probably did that.
So full gross for the movie,
3.1.
Anyway, not 9.1.
Wow.
Hey, I said 10.
Yeah. No, 10's. Yeah.
Yep. That's a major bomb.
That is what they call flop, I think.
Yeah. Ratings, pretty much to be expected, I think. IMDb, we're sitting at a 6 out of 10. The critics over at Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 33%, while audience score is 63%. Should I just move on to awards?
Sounds good, man.
Let's do it. This is where Sandra always gets me in trouble. He yells at me because I don't do it right.
So we start off with worst performance.
You want to
guess first?
I'll let you go. Please, you guys go first. Let me think of the worst performance.
Well, our normal routine is for Ben to start that then.
Oh, yeah. Please.
I am going to have to go with the performer who was nominated for a Razzie for worst new actor that year. And that's the Boz. That's Joe Huff. He looked the part, and I think he tried to act the part, but I think try is the problem I have because it was not successful.
Sandra?
I went with Arabella Halsbog as Nancy. This character, especially when she's going into her like troubled past, was given way too much expectation for emotional presentation, and she did not nail any of it.
I do have to make an argument that she was great in almost every other scene she was in, though.
I didn't like her in any of it. I agree with Sandra 100%.
I disagree with what you just said, Ben. I don't think she.
I disagree with what everybody says.
It was a toss up between Nancy and Gut for me.
Gut, really?
He's just a pussy. Come on, man.
Yeah, we're talking about the actual like actor's performance.
That's true. Actually, so it was good then. Nancy was awful. I thought she was not memorable. She was not engaging. Like, do you remember Sharon Stone from Action Jackson? Even though Sharon Stone was not even Sharon Stone. You know what I mean? She's pretty memorable.
I completely forgot she was in the movie until you mentioned it.
Okay.
You mentioned it earlier.
Sharon Stone?
I thought I did.
Oh,
but maybe not. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, but regardless of that, like, I feel like she was more memorable in Action Jackson than Nancy was in this.
I disagree, but I also just watched this movie twice this week, so
you've got time vested, man.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got recency and on your side.
Okay, so next I would start with best performance, and I'm pretty sure there's only one answer for this, and it is
disagree.
Lance Henriksen as Chains.
I knew you were going for that.
Go ahead.
Well, thanks for letting me finish it. That was awesome.
Jeez,
man.
Ben. Sandra says 3 words. You got to cough after 2.
Yeah. No. Lance.
Go ahead, Sandro.
No, that's it. Just Lance Henriksen as Chains.
All right.
What about you, Ben?
I picked William Forsythe as Ice. I thought he stole every scene he was in. He was the one with like the most energy. He was the most terrifying. And like you see interviews with him, and that guy's a sweetheart. I would have put Lance Henriksen as second if I could have a second, but it's just the same character you see him play in every movie.
I'd like to give the best role to Brian Bosworth with his motorcycle.
His horse?
His horse. Get off my horse. No, I also agree. I mean, look, Chains was good.
I mean,
I think they were both good. I felt like Ice was a little bit over exaggerated, and Lance Henriksen was the perfect mix of crazy and thought provoking or strategic.
Yeah, I can see why you would say that too. I just think Ice works more so for this movie because everything about this movie is over the top.
That's totally a great point. And in that respect, absolutely correct.
Chains is the best character for sure. Undeniably. Yeah. But yeah, I just didn't get I didn't understand Henriksen as best performance there. But there could be something I'm missing because that man was born in 1940 and he's still acting his ass off and doing a great job. So
I know he looks so different. I saw his picture on IMDb. Yeah. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So many movies I liked him in though, obviously. Especially being an 80s person.
Yeah, I've never seen him in a role I've disliked that I can think of.
He was in Millennium, right? With Chris Christopherson? Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, because that's the one, I think that's one of the most underrated movies of all time. And I don't know why, but I was always drawn to that movie in my teen years or something.
He was in Millennium, the TV show as well.
Oh, yeah? I didn't know that. I don't think I saw the... that's right. Isn't that was he in the movie and the TV show? No, he was in the TV show Millennium, right?
Yeah, I feel like he might have been in the movie too, though.
Completely
unrelated other than the title.
Right. Weird, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
On to memorable line.
Ben would start us off with favorite or most memorable line.
This is not my favorite line, but it's the one that really stuck with me since the first time I saw the movie. And it's when Chains is killing the agent in the courthouse. And he just says, "This time it's for real, asshole." And I saw this movie when I was a kid, and I was like, that's terrifying. And that line stuck with me. That's the only thing I could really remember about this movie. That and Bosworth being in it.
Okay.
Well done.
I didn't have nostalgia to go on.
Yeah.
I went with when Nancy asks Stone if he is a cop, and he says, "You're right. I'm a cop."
It makes sense why you were so sure about that scene.
Dude, I think he says it's something like, "Yeah, I'm a cop," or something, doesn't he? Or does he say, "You're right"?
"You're right. I'm a cop." I rewound that part must have been 12 times because the scene is building up to that moment, and she asks how many times do you hear this in everything? It's like, "Look me in the eyes and tell me." And I'm just like, all right, here we're going to get some sort of cliche response. And then it floored me that they went in the complete opposite direction and had him essentially admit it, but in a way that it was like, does she even believe him?
Yeah, it totally worked. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Good point.
Mark?
Oh, okay. I have 3, actually.
Oh, this is not how you do it, man. You pick one.
All right, fine. I'm going to do 2 because I have a reference of Boz and his older cousin somehow. Okay. The first one is, "You look like a grown-up version of Bam Bam." And when I heard that and saw him, it made me think of Butterfinger from Hudson Hawk. And if Brian Bosworth just ate a lot and just took a shit ton of steroids, he would have been Butterfinger from Hudson Hawk.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
Don't even know.
It's still one of the best movies. Hudson Hawk? with Bruce Willis and Danny Aiello and Sandra Hart and who else? There's a bunch of people. Not William Forsythe. Who's the guy? Who's the guy who did the? I forget his name. He had like a really gruff voice, but it wasn't Sam. It's like the Sam Elliott counterpart. Excellent movie. Anyway, but the other one is Lance his chains yelling, "It's better to be first in hell than last in heaven."
I don't even remember that line.
He shot somebody dead. He shot somebody. I forget who it was, but he shot them and said, "Better be." Was it the military guys? Before that, the Army National Guard guys.
Yeah, I think so.
I think he does.
That really stood out because it's like a weird spin-off of a John Milton line.
It's better to rule in hell than serve in right. Rule in hell and serve in heaven,
or reign in hell than serve
in heaven. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
I thought that was a cheesy way to say it, but like I was like, damn, that works.
Yeah, definitely. All good lines.
All right. So I would start off favorite or most memorable moment or scene. And I went with during the chase when Ice cuts the guy's arm in order to try and get Stone off of his trail. It was such a quick scene, but just it stuck with me because I'm like, this is not something I can recall ever seeing in a movie or show, but it made so much sense when I saw it.
Yep. It's a great scene, man.
I agree. It's very smart in the way of like, yeah, that's how you would react.
Yep.
Ben?
Oh, I'm right there with you. It's my most memorable scene for sure.
Okay, Mark. They're connected, but it's the blowing up of the grenade, followed up by the guy looking like the Tommy Lee Jones Two-Face character in the bed.
Tool,
because it reminded me. It almost looked like that's where I would have gotten Two-Face from. Didn't it look very Two-Face-ish?
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm like, holy shit, that looks like a premonition of Harvey.
Yeah, dude only had one face though.
Well, it was the other face was pretty fucked up. The other half was like, isn't that what Harvey's face was like? It was kind of melted off.
Yeah, I'm just saying Tool only had one because he got the entirety burnt.
That's true. But like the one side was really bad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like wasn't the left side really mangled? The side they were really showing?
Yeah.
So kudos to the makeup department. It looked real and very interesting.
Yeah, and the people that dealt with the pyro and everything.
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of great explosions in that movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that brings us to our final recommendation. Mark, would you care to start that one off at least?
No.
Okay, Ben.
I 100% recommend this movie. This movie is a fucking blast. You know how lately we've been talking about movies? It's like, yeah, you can watch by yourself, but you get much more out of it if you watch with other people. Probably the same case here. But you get a hell of a lot out of it watching it by yourself. I loved it. I had a blast. I think you'd have a laugh riot if you watched it with a couple of friends. I think you could watch it anytime. It's a great, solid, fun, ridiculous, over-the-top action movie. And sometimes you just need one of those. And if you're in that mood, go for Stone Cold from 91. It's great.
That's a very solid review right there.
I'm going to go with a pass on this one. Honestly, there was a lot of parts where I was just bored.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bored. I never thought you would be bored with this movie.
Yeah, and I mean, this is coming from a guy who, like, Ben, I don't know movies, but I know 80s action cheese movies. Mm-hmm. And this one just didn't cut it for me, man.
That just confuses me.
I mean, I'm as confused as you are.
Huh.
I found that the one-liners weren't that great, if that's what you want to go on. I mean, not that you expect a solid plot for any of these movies, but this one is just so far behind.
Yeah.
What are you going to go on? Performances? I mean, yeah, we argued about it, but Lance Henriksen, I know you're going to get mad at me for getting his real name, but Ice, are like your two options for best performance, but after that there isn't any. Just a couple of good scenes. I mean, if you're a big Lance Henriksen fan, probably worth checking out. I'm gonna go with a pass.
Oh, it's so much fun. I do have to say something about your good lines. There are no good 80s action lines. They're all ridiculous.
Shut your mouth.
They're terrible.
Commando? Who had to split?
Yeah, that's terrible. All of the lines in Arnold movies are terrible, but they work with the movie.
Let's admit, I'll Be Back is probably one of the most amazing. Sim does sense every time.
Well, it's weird because the first time they used it, nobody cared. It was the
right in original Terminator, right?
Yeah.
Was it the original Terminator when he's in the police station? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. He looks at the window, he observes,
and
then he says, "I'll be back," and then the next part is him driving the car through it.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it's only when you hear him say it in a completely different tone in the second movie where it turned into like pop culture.
Yeah, because in the first one, he just kind of says it. I'll be back.
Just a matter of fact.
Yep.
Also in the same scene with Lance Henriksen.
Cool.
Who was in the police station.
Well, how about that?
All right. Well, Mark, are you ready to give your recommendation?
I am. Yes, thank you, Sandro, for allowing me to not go first every time.
Such enthusiasm for third. Go ahead.
Look, I come in third all the time, man. I'm good. I'm good with that. I'll take a bronze medal. I would recommend it. So this is my entrance to this. Once again, I'm like just a few years older than you guys. So this was my heyday. This is my high school. I graduated high school in 92. So what am I, a junior? So I'm like, I remember watching this and how shitty it was because you compared it to all of the other movies of that era with the Seagals and the Van Dams. Because remember, you're living this live. Watching this, 30 years later without any, like, when you told me that Stone Cold, and I'm like, the Brian Bosworth movie, and you said yes, I was just like, are you what? I was confused is what I wasn't upset. I was just confused. I said, all right, well, I know this is going to be shit. I turned it on. I was thoroughly entertained. This is a Mystery Science Theater 3000 type movie.
It actually is.
There's enough stuff. There's enough pauses to like throw a bunch of the little silhouette guys talking, but there's also so much content that you can pull stuff from. Like that's explosion number 3,468 or something, something stupid. Or I feel like that movie would be fun to comment with, to your point, Ben, with a group of people.
Mm-hmm. And to bring up too, like the old Mystery Science Theater guys that do riff tracks now I love riff tracks. Oh, did they? Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. I saw the riff tracks live. Well, I don't know if it was live, but it was the one I saw. It was Starship Troopers. It was amazing.
You should check out The Running Man.
They did a lot. Well, they did it live. So they were reading the script.
True.
On like they had an East Coast, West Coast feed, and we were just doing the West Coast side. But it was because it's a different thing,
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, they do have a bunch. Obviously they couldn't, but because it's copyrighted, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I would definitely recommend it because you can step away and not be lost. Like where this is headed.
Yeah.
So
2 recommends and 1 not recommend.
No, not really.
All
right, so that was our thoughts on 1991 Stone Cold. If you guys want to share your opinions on it, you can hit us up on social media. We are on Twitter at BS Bargain Bin. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/BS Bargain Bin, or you can hit us up by email because that's still a thing, bsbargainbin@outlook.com. Before we head off, I just want to say, Mark, thank you so much for joining us again. And if you could please just take a minute to let people know where they can find you.
Thank you, sir. And thanks to both of you. You guys have been more than generous in allowing me to ramble on endlessly about nonsensical things. I can be found on Twitter at KnockCon, www.knockedconscious.com, or your Googles. That's EEOOG, because we like to get drunk and look up random shit on the internet.
Perfect. Again, thank you so much.
Yeah, and I want to officially, I'm going to put this in the recording as well. Let's do this. You must come again and share your time with us. So let's find a time we can get to, you can join me and we can promote you guys. You guys have fun stuff.
I think I'm going to be sick that day.
You know me,
you still want to talk for 4 hours? You don't talk for 13 hours, Sandro? Is that the problem?
All right. Anyway, next week is our December fan pick, which is again a pick from Craig, because he's submitting every single month. And Ben, would you like to tell him what we're watching?
Yeah, Craig, thanks. Next week we'll be talking 2002's Spider-Man.
Who am I? You sure you want to know? If somebody told you I was just your average, ordinary guy, not a care in the world, somebody lied. Truth is, it wasn't always like this. There was a time when life was a lot less complicated. Can I take your picture for the school paper?
Sure. In this lab, we have 15 genetically enhanced super spiders.
There's 14. One's missing.
Peter, are you all right?
I'm fine.
Pete, look, you're changing. I know I went through exactly the same thing at your age.
No, not exactly.
Wow.
Peter, may I introduce my father, Norman Osborn?
Great honor to meet you, sir.
Harry tells me you're quite the science whiz. You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
What the hell was that?
Whatever it is, somebody has to stop it.
With great power comes great responsibility.
This is my gift.
Wow.
It is my curse.
Who are you?
Who am I? I'm Spider-Man.
Do I get to say thank you this time?
Until next week, have a good one, guys.
And remember, Ben, with great power comes great responsibility.
All the best, guys.